All right, so you've received your orders. Your job is to go take this particular bunker and to try and hold it. That's your job. But I want to talk about sort of where the order would have come from. This is things that you would have known if you've been in the military and what you would have been given. So one of the things that you almost undoubtedly would have been given is a pretty good detailed map. Um, that map was probably made from airplane pictures, from pictures taken from airplanes, I should say, that flew over the enemy's trench, um, and would have identified the various lines where their artillery had been. You would have also received intelligence reports saying what units you would expect to fight in the line opposing you. These were usually pretty good, but they're always very time sensitive. And the way you got that information was frequently as you sent small groups of troops over every couple of 3 days, and you tried to take prisoners in what were called little trench raids, which had no impact on the war itself, but prepared you for moments like this in terms of knowing who was where they were. You're a company commander. You would have had a battalion commander. He would have been in charge of, at this time, roughly 1,000 soldiers, probably a few more for it. He'd have been given a few more for an attack. Um, and that's who your order's coming from. It's coming from this lieutenant colonel or colonel. His orders are coming from a brigade commander and ultimately from a division commander who's commanding over 20,000 troops, and he himself is getting it from higher up at a corps or army level. So there's a lot of thought and process that would have gone into this. That wasn't the case when World War One started and when the trenches were first built in late 1914 and early 1915. Troops were just sent in to die in the masses without sort of this proper air reconnaissance and trying to gather intelligence. So by the time the Americans got there, our British and French allies basically had taught us how one goes about doing stuff like this. And so that's where the order would have come from. The orders would have been given to you as a company commander verbally. Your battalion commander probably got written orders, but your orders would have been from word of mouth. And your expectation would be figure out how to accomplish this mission. So, anyways, that's a little bit on orders and how orders were circulated. They were given out at the last minute because you didn't want the enemy to find out in some way or shape about the coming attack so they could prepare for you and butcher you. So you have probably an hour and a half or 2 hours to try and get out your little trench periscope and look at what's going along across the field and getting your guys ready, making sure they have food and ammunition, and getting them ready to go over the top of the trench.